You know, friends, there's a little village in Japan where people don't just live longer, they thrive longer. In Okinawa, it's not unusual to meet a spry 90-year-old tending their garden or a centenarian laughing with friends over tea. Meanwhile, so many of us here spend our golden years worrying about pills, aches, and doctor's appointments. But what if I told you the secret to living to 100 isn't some miracle drug or expensive treatment? It's a way of life, simple habits woven into daily routines, things any of us can start today, no matter our age or health. I'll admit, when I first heard about this, I was skeptical too. After all, at 72, I've seen my share of health fads come and go. Remember when they told us margarine was better than butter? But what the Okinawans do differently isn't a trend. It's centuries of wisdom passed down through generations, and modern science is finally catching up to prove it works. Think about this. Okinawa has 5 times as many centenarians as the rest of Japan, and Japan already outlives most of the world. So what's their secret? It's not just one thing, it's how they eat, move, connect, and even think. And here's the best part. You don't need to move to Japan or overhaul your life overnight. Over the years, I've slowly woven these habits into my own routine, and let me tell you, the difference isn't just in how long you live, it's in how well you live. Take my neighbor Carlos, 82, who scoffed at this Okinawa nonsense until his arthritis got so bad he could barely open a jar. He started with just one of these habits, something so simple it'll surprise you. And within months, he was back to tinkering in his workshop. Now, I'm not promising miracles, but I am saying that small changes add up. So let's start with the first habit, the one that might seem obvious, but that most of us get wrong without even realizing it. It's not about what they eat in Okinawa, though. That matters. It's about how they eat. Picture this. You're sitting down to a meal, and before you even take a bite, you pause. Not to say grace, though. That's lovely too, but to do something our culture has forgotten. You see, in Okinawa, they follow an ancient principle called hara hachi bu, eating until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, not even satisfied by our standards, but just enough. Sounds impossible, right? Especially when the nursing home keeps piling mashed potatoes on your plate, or when loneliness drives you to the fridge. But here's what changed. For me, it's not about willpower, it's about awareness. I started putting my fork down between bites, really tasting my food like we did back when meals weren't rushed. And something funny happened. Now I know what you're thinking. Eat until I'm 80% full? That sounds like starvation. Believe me, I thought the same thing when my granddaughter first told me about hara hachi bu. But here's the fascinating part. It's not about eating less, it's about eating differently. The Okinawans fill their plates with vibrant vegetables, sweet potatoes, and fresh fish. Foods that nourish without weighing you down. Remember how our mothers used to say, chew your food 30 times? Turns out they were onto something. When I started slowing down, really savoring each bite instead of inhaling my meals like I was back at the factory lunch table, I noticed something remarkable. That uncomfortable bloating after dinner? Gone. The mid-afternoon slump that had me reaching for cookies vanished. And here's the real kicker, my arthritis pain lessened. My doctor explained that carrying extra weight, even just 10 or 15 pounds, puts stress on aging joints. But this isn't some harsh diet, it's gentle realignment. Take my friend Evelyn, 78, who swore she could never change her eating habits. She started by simply using a smaller plate, a trick from the old country, and within weeks, she'd lost 8 pounds without feeling deprived. The key is mindfulness, something we've lost in our fast food culture. Okinawans often begin meals with a moment of gratitude, not just for the food, but for the hands that prepared it. It's a far cry from eating in front of the evening news, isn't it? And let's talk about their secret weapon, umami. That rich, savory flavor in foods like mushrooms, seaweed, and miso soup, it satisfies cravings at a deep level. I've replaced my nightly ice cream with a warm cup of miso broth. And honestly, I don't miss the sugar crash. But eating like an Okinawan isn't just about the food on your plate, it's about the people around your table. Meals are social events, not solitary rituals. Even when my passed and it was just me, I began inviting neighbors over for simple suppers. The laughter and conversation naturally slow down eating, making hara hachi bu effortless. And here's something they don't tell you in diet books. Your stomach actually shrinks over time when you practice this. What felt impossible at first becomes second nature. Now, let's move to the second habit, one that might surprise you because it's not about exercise the way we think of it. The Okinawans have a saying, move to live, live to move. But you won't find them running marathons or lifting heavy weights. Instead, they engage in what researchers call incidental movement, natural, all-day activity that keeps their bodies agile. Picture this, a 93-year-old woman bending effortlessly to tend her vegetable patch, or a man in his 80s practicing Tai Chi in the morning mist. That's the next secret we'll explore, how to stay strong and flexible without setting foot in a gym. You might be sitting there thinking, Tai Chi? Gardening? That's not real exercise. Oh, but my friends, that's exactly where we've been fooled all these years. The Okinawans understand something modern fitness culture forgot. Movement isn't just about burning calories or building muscles. It's about maintaining the freedom to live life on your terms. Take my old college buddy Raymond, used to be a star athlete, but after his knee replacement, he figured his moving days were over. Then he discovered Radio Taiso, Japan's beloved morning calisthenics broadcast. Just 10 minutes of gentle stretches to big band music, the kind we danced to in our youth. And suddenly, he could tie his shoes without groaning. That's the magic of Ikigai, the Okinawan concept of having a reason to get up in the morning. For many there, it's tending their shima dofu, island tofu, business, or teaching traditional dance. For you, it might be playing with great-grandkids or finally taking that watercolor class. The point is this: when movement is woven into your purpose, it stops feeling like a chore. I'll never forget Mrs. Tanaka, a 101-year-old I met in Naha, who still walked to the fish market daily, not because she had to, but because she loved chatting with the vendors. That's the secret, making movement social and meaningful. Now, I can hear some of you saying, but my back won't let me do that. Here's where Okinawan wisdom shines. They listen to their bodies without surrendering to them. My neighbor Lois, who's battled osteoporosis for years, started with just sitting exercises, arm circles while watching Wheel of Fortune, ankle rolls during commercials. Within months, she graduated to walking her corgi around the block. The key is consistent motion, not intensity. Even something as simple as rising from your chair without using armrests, what therapists call a sit-to-stand, builds crucial leg strength. And here's something revolutionary. Okinawan elders never stop squatting. That deep knee bend we've been warned against? When done slowly and with support, like holding a kitchen counter, it maintains hip mobility. I keep a sturdy stool in my shower just so I can practice sitting and standing safely every morning. You know, friends, as we uncover these life-changing habits together, I'm reminded why I started this channel, to create a community where we can share these golden nuggets of wisdom. If you're finding value in these Okinawan secrets, imagine what we could discover next week when I reveal how their unique approach to social connections adds years to your life. Hit that subscribe button and join thousands of fellow seniors who are already transforming their golden years. Together we're proving age is just a number. Your best years might still be ahead. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the third habit, the one that might surprise you most. It's not about what you do, but how you think. Okinawans have an almost spiritual relationship with stress, something we've all had too much of these past years. Their secret? Moai, lifelong friend circles formed in childhood that become emotional safety nets. Picture your old bowling league or bridge club, but deeper. When George lost his wife of 52 years, it was his Moai. 4 men he's known since basic training, who showed up with casseroles and card games every night for months. That kind of support literally lowers blood pressure and inflammation. And here's the beautiful part. It's never too late to create your Moai. After my stroke, I started a weekly tea group at the senior center. Just 4 of us at first, sharing stories and Earl Grey. Now, we've got 12 members and a waiting list. The laughter in that room does more for my health than any pill ever could. Now, let's talk about something we don't discuss enough, how Okinawans handle stress, because let's face it, getting older comes with its share of worries. Between health scares, financial concerns, and missing loved ones who've passed, our golden years can sometimes feel more like lead. But here's where Okinawan wisdom shines brightest. They've mastered the art of Yuimaru, which means mutual support in their dialect. Imagine this. When an elder faces hardship, the entire village rallies around them, not just with kind words, but with action. When my friend Miriam's husband had a stroke, her neighbors organized a meal rotation without being asked, just like communities used to do back in our youth. That's Yuimaru in action. Stress shared becomes stress halved. But here's the profound part. Okinawans view challenges through what psychologists now call cognitive reframing. Take 94-year-old Mr. Yamashiro, who told me losing his farm in the war was the universe's way of pushing me toward teaching. That's not just optimism, it's strategic resilience. I've started applying this to my own life. When my knees protest during walks, I think, this is my body, reminding me I'm still alive and capable of feeling. Sounds simple, but this mental shift changes everything at our age. And here's something fascinating. Okinawan centenarians rarely retire in our Western sense. They practice what anthropologists call role continuity, gradually shifting responsibilities rather than stopping cold turkey. My barber, Sal, still cuts hair 3 mornings a week at 87. Not for money, but because it gives him purpose. That's the antidote to what ails so many seniors. Not boredom, but irrelevance. Now let's address the elephant in the room, spirituality. In Okinawa, ancestor worship isn't morbid. It's a vibrant connection across generations. Their butsudan, family altars, aren't just for mourning. They're places of daily conversation with those who came before. When my daughter rolled her eyes at me talking to my late husband's photo, I explained it like this. Honey, at my age, more of my favorite people live in memory than in my phone contacts. Science backs this up. A UCLA study found seniors who maintain continuing bonds with departed loved ones experience 30% less depression. But you don't need an altar. I keep my mother's rolling pin on the counter and tell my grandkids stories while we bake. That's legacy building, Okinawan style. And here's where it gets truly revolutionary, their concept of nuchigusui, which translates to medicine of life. It's the belief that food, movement, and community are medicine. When 102-year-old Mrs. Higa offered me bitter melon tea for my arthritis, she didn't say, "This will help." She said, "This is your nuchigusui." That subtle shift makes all the difference. We're not patients managing diseases, but active participants in our well-being. I've started calling my morning walk my joint medicine, and you know what? I rarely miss a dose. Now, let me share something personal. The habit that transformed my life most profoundly. It's what Okinawans call ichariba chode, meaning once we meet, we're family. This radical openness to connection is why their elders rarely live isolated. After my stroke, I was drowning in loneliness until I remembered this principle. So I started treating every cashier, mail carrier, and dog walker like long-lost cousins. Sounds silly, but these micro-connections built a safety net, stronger than any emergency alert button. Just last week, my pharmacy clerk noticed I forgot my cane and walked my bags to the car. Not because it's her job, but because we've shared stories of her grandson for years. That's the secret sauce. Not just socializing, but belonging. And here's the kicker. Research shows these casual connections lower dementia risk as effectively as crossword puzzles. So tomorrow, when you get your coffee, ask the barista their name. Compliment a stranger's hat. These small acts of ichiriba chode might just add years to your life, and life to your years. So here we are, my dear friends, at the heart of the Okinawan secret. It was never about individual habits, but how they all weave together into what I call the golden tapestry of longevity. The hara hachi. Bu eating reminds us to savor life's portions. The gentle movement keeps our bodies in conversation with joy. The Moai circles become our living safety nets. And Yuimaru transforms burdens into bonds. But the true magic happens when these strands intertwine, like how my Tuesday gardening feeds my body, connects me with my Moai of fellow gardeners, and satisfies my Ikigai all at once. Remember my skeptical neighbor, Carlos? Last month at 83, he hosted his first ochabayashi, a tea and drumming circle blending Okinawan traditions with his Puerto Rican roots. Watching him teach neighborhood kids to play sanshin while sipping antioxidant-rich jasmine tea, I realized, this is living to 100 right here. Not just adding years, but adding music to those years. And that's what I want for you. Not a rigid checklist, but your own personalized version of this wisdom. Maybe your hara hachi boo is eating off grandma's china to slow down meals. Perhaps your movement is swaying to old Motown hits while dusting. Your Moai could be the gang from the factory reuniting for monthly pancake breakfasts. The blueprint isn't in Okinawa, it's in you, waiting to be uncovered like a long-forgotten recipe in the back of a 1950s cookbook. Now, before you go, let me leave you with what I call the 5-minute Okinawan starter kit, because transformation shouldn't feel overwhelming. First, tonight, serve dinner on a salad plate instead of a dinner plate. Your stomach won't know the difference, but your joints will thank you. Tomorrow morning, do 3 sit-to-stands from your favorite chair. Before turning on the news, this week, call that old friend you've been meaning to reconnect with, not to reminisce about aches, but to plan a new adventure, even if it's just trying that new diner. And here's the most important step. Sometime today, look in the mirror and say aloud one reason you're glad to be your age. Maybe it's finally not caring what others think or getting senior discounts at the movies. Mine is watching my great-granddaughter's eyes light up when I tell stories about the moon landing. Now, if this conversation has sparked even one aha moment for you, do me 3 favors. First, tap that like button so YouTube knows to share this with more wonderful folks like you. Second, hit subscribe because next week we're diving into the Scandinavian art of cozy aging. Turns out the Danes know a thing or two about thriving after 70. And most importantly, leave a comment sharing which Okinawan habit resonated most. Was it the 80% eating rule? The power of Moai? Your stories inspire our whole community. As I sign off today, I'm picturing you, yes, you, at 100, surrounded by loved ones with a lifetime of stories etched in your smile. That future starts with the choices you make today, and I'm honored to walk this path with you. Until next time, remember what the Okinawans say, Nan kuru nai sa. Everything's going to be all right. Now go drink some green tea, call someone who makes you laugh, and keep shining your unique light. The world needs it now more than ever.